And I'm gonna mute myself until you bring me in and say something to me. Is that okay?
Yep, because we live now. Hey everybody, welcome to the Winning Evening News. It's me, Wanda D, the motivational queen, and I want to invite everybody in. Take a moment. We're in the Facebook group of the Winning Evening News. So come on in, tell a friend it's time to win. As we come in, please introduce yourself and tell everybody where you're tuning in from. Yes. I got all these devices. So I'm going to try to share out real quick to let people know that we're on live. Please do the same. This group is brought to you by the Wake Up Winning for Entrepreneur group right here on Facebook. And inside of that group, what we want to do is we just want to encourage people to become an entrepreneur. We support entrepreneurs, those aspiring to become entrepreneurs, and those that support other entrepreneurs. And just how do we do that? Well, it's real simple. We give you some tools and tips, some inspiration of how to stay committed, how to stay focused, and how to stay motivated to your vision. Because being an entrepreneur, it may sound sexy, but it's a very, very serious task, and it requires your 100% focus. So with that being said, I just want to encourage everybody to come on in. And if you should come in later, please type in replay. You can also catch our video inside of the Wake Up Winning group for entrepreneurs, and it'll also be broadcast on YouTube, which is on my personal channel, Wanda D. Hollis, as well as the I Am Enough channel here on Facebook. That's I Am Enough Talk Show channel here on Facebook that you'll be able to also watch the broadcast. So today is a very special day because I have a very special guest with me. And this young lady is quite a powerhouse. She's very inspirational and just a lot of wherewithal in a lot of different areas. And so today we decided to cover credit. And I'm talking about Miss Lotus Riche. She also has a company called Unites, which is a coaching company that she teaches people how to get started. And, pretty much we all in the same space of just wanting to encourage and motivate other people. She has a very, very extensive background, and I'm going to bring her in. She's going to tell you much more about herself. And then we're going to dive in deep, because what we've decided was this conversation may have to go into various talks. We may have to do multiple sessions with this information, because credit is the number one thing that it breaks up families. It prevents people from getting great jobs. It impacts us in a lot of ways. And I think that in order to get to our true wealth, we need to decide that we want to develop good credit. So, Lotus, are you there?
Hey there, Wanda.
How are you? I can't see you.
I am wonderful. How's that?
There you go.
Much better?
Much better.
Okay.
Much better.
Fantastic. So thank you for having me on your show today. I'm so delighted to be here. I'm so humble too. I know you have a lot of the big ballers on here.
You're a big baller.
That are definitely waking up winning, and that are definitely about winning evening news. So I really appreciate being here today. And I want to say hi to all your guests, and thank you guys for giving us this time to come to you and speak to you about something simple but complex, and it's credit, and how to leverage your credit to leverage your lifestyle. So I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about that tonight. So thanks, Wanda.
Well, thank you so much. Now we share a platform called the Status Network. We're both on the Status Network broadcast here in Atlanta, but Lotus comes out of another city. Is that Washington? Is it DC? DC, right?
Yes.
So just to speak to the power of communication and media, we can be all over the world and still hang out together. So
Yes.
that's the beautiful thing. So let everybody know, and I know you're from New Jersey, so just give us more of your backstory. Tell us, just exactly who Lotus is. Give us some of that backstory.
Okay, so I am Lotus Riche with Lotus Riche Nice Life Coaching and Consulting. I am a prior military person. Go Navy, yes. I love the Air Force and the Marines and all you other folks, but I know you want to be down with the Navy. So come on. So I'm prior Navy, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about. I'm just a little plain, beautiful young lady from Passaic, New Jersey, and I went to Grammar Catholic School, Catholic high school, went to college, been in the military, and all of my learning led me to understanding that it doesn't matter if you have degrees. I have a master's degree in business. I have a psychology degree, and I have student loans. But what they didn't tell me when they were handing me the student loans in the degrees, they didn't tell me about credit. Mm-hmm. And they didn't tell me if I don't manage my credit properly, how it would hurt me. And I have been irresponsible with credit. At 25, I owned my first home in a neighborhood where most of the people that lived in my neighborhood, they were retired military or they owned their own businesses. I was a clinical engineer for Kodak, Eastman Kodak. At the time, and I was doing quite well for myself. But one thing I did not know, is how to prepare myself for buying a house. So my mom and my dad, I grew up in a home where they both worked. My dad also had his own business, but what they instilled in me was hard work and taking care of your finances and your credit. So I learned that from them. So when I got ready to buy my first home, I learned predominantly from my mom what I needed to do. And she was great. And she always talked about credit and how to maintain it. Mm-hmm. But sometimes when you get away from home and you think you've grown and you got great jobs and you're making good money, company cars, corporate credit cards and all that, and you're young and you cute too. Sometimes,
don't forget about the cute part.
That's right. Don't forget about the cute part. And highly intelligent. Before I wouldn't say that, but now I say highly intelligent. We have to give ourselves credit. You start sometimes to be a little negligent on paying your bills on time.
Right.
On doing some of the things that you need to do for yourself. You got this big old house, you got cars, you got any and everything you need and want, but you kind of trickle down on the credit thing. And I've done that. I used to loan people my mortgage money. I kid you not. Mm-hmm. And they come to me and they have this hardship story, and I loan them my mortgage money and say, hey, I need it back by this date, but the hardship persisted, and then I was in hardship. Yep. Okay. So I've done things like that. I've done things like rob Peter to pay Paul when things like that happen. So I'm saying that to say to everybody out there, you are not alone. A predominantly large part of people run into some type of credit problems. And sometimes it's because of irresponsibility. Sometimes it's because people lose their jobs. In 2009, we had a recession in this country, if you remember. And the people right there where I lived, they were losing their homes left and right. And remember, I told you that many of them were business owners, retired military. And fortunate for me, I had a friend that had a friend who was in buying and selling homes. And you know all about buying and selling homes because you used to be a realtor. Mm-hmm. And in a market where people are trying to get rid of their homes, you're not going to make a lot of money. And you kind of almost throwing your home away. But luckily for me, I was able to sell my home and get out from under it because at that time I was working for the state and the state had furloughed us. Okay.
Right.
So even though I had like probably 45 days of leave that I could have used, even if I took that leave, they weren't going to pay me. Right. So things like that can happen. People have divorces And a lot of times they run into credit problems. People have children and other friends and family members that they co-sign for cars or what have you. And sometimes life happens. And
Been
when
there.
life happens, the credit happens. So I wanted to kind of reach out to people to let people know that you're not alone and that you can recover. I've seen people. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, you don't have to stay there.
Exactly. Because I've seen people with 400 credit scores come up. My credit score at one time was like maybe 425, and I was able to do something with it. And I think really, Wanda, what really got me on this path was last year, a family member of mine, they were moving with their job and they worked for the government, and they went to get an apartment or a house or what have you, and they couldn't get it. And they couldn't get it because their credit score was lower than a 620.
Mm-hmm.
And,
absolutely.
You know, I wanted to help them, but I couldn't help them because my credit wasn't the best that it could be. I was closer to it than them, but it just wasn't, because I had just not too long come from Japan and I wasn't working overhauling properties. You know, life happens.
Right.
So when I started to think about it, I called them back and I said, listen, I know how to help you. And so I was able to help them raise their credit score from the mid 500s up to 600 and something. But now in the past probably 5 months, they're over 734 in their credit score. And it's primarily because they learned how to leverage their credit for their lifestyle. And you leverage your credit by doing your homework and being disciplined. And that's something I wasn't early on in life.
So what are some of the disciplines that you need to share with our viewers? You know, because like you said, life happens, miseducation to begin with.
Yes.
You know, it's funny you say that. I know about maybe a year or so ago, I had a talk with my daughter and she was like the same way, like, Mom, why didn't they teach us this in school? You know, because these are some of the tools that you need as an adult of how, when they throwing those credit cards at you when you're in college and you just thinking that credit card is just this endless, that whatever that balance is, it doesn't mean anything. It means just spend.
Yes.
So then you're not thinking about the repay on that, and then the interest. So you're paying double of what it's worth. So what are some of the disciplines that we need to establish when we get that credit card? You know, what are some of the disciplines?
First and foremost, before you even get the credit card, I would say you need to know what your credit looks like. Okay. And the reason being is because when you're in college, and especially military people, a lot of times when you're in the military, people are really ready to give you credit because they know that if you don't pay the bill, the government,
they know you got that job too.
Exactly. You got that bread, especially if you live overseas, you making buku money, trust me. So the first thing I would say is you need to make sure that you look at your credit score. But if you're beyond that point, like Wanda was talking about, and you have a credit card already, you want to make sure you get your credit card paid before time, not on time. You get it? Because sometimes people's on time is the following day. It's late. So there you go. So we're going to talk about some of it. And what I've done is I prepared from one of the talks that I do on Don't Debate, Get Your Credit Straight, some information for you. And I put it in slide form so that we'll give you just enough time to write some of this stuff down if you need to. Would that be okay?
Okay, yes. And just so everybody know, now is the time to get your pen and paper ready, because we're jumping into this lesson today. We are not playing. This is not a few foo-foo, let the throw the chips up and let them fall where they may type of discussion. She's going to give us some great tools, some great information, and some steps that we can use to repair, restore, and also build our credit. So I want everybody to, at this point, please if you're on Facebook, take time right now to give us some thumbs up and let us know that you're appreciating the information that's about to come forth. Take time right now to share the video. If you just put it on your page. And also for our winning viewers, if you are watching, why don't you start a watch party? So then that way you can allow people to come in and join this discussion. And if you have questions, put your questions in the comments. I'm looking at the comments. We got I just want to give a shout out to a few people. We got Miss Vivian in the house, Miss Regina, Janelle is one of our team members. She's on here too. She'll be handling Facebook and responding to people through there, and anybody else that comes through. I know I can't see a lot of the names just because of where you are, but take the time right now to hit that thumbs up button. We need that. It's something about Facebook algorithms, and they need to know that we're really out here, and that we matter. So I want to encourage everybody to just do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. And Queen, take it away.
Thank you so much.
Process.
Also, viewers, please make sure to understand that we have maybe 45 minutes to an hour. So there may be some things that we don't get to. Okay. So don't worry about it. We'll be able to come back. But if you have any questions today, please put them down below and we'll try to get to them in this segment if we are able to. Okay. So thank you so much. So here we go. Let's jump right into it. So the first thing you want to do, and you'll see me, I'll be moving in and off the screen because I want you to be able to see this. So the first thing you want to do is get your free credit report. Now, a lot of times people don't know that they're entitled to a free credit report. So you are entitled to one free credit report each year from all three credit bureaus. Okay. So make sure that you're able to get that from them. Okay, and it's really easy to do. You can do it online or you can call them. So how do I get my credit scores? Let's talk about how you get your credit scores, okay? We're going to talk right now about the three major credit bureaus, okay? And the three major bureaus are, or reporting bureaus, I should say, Equifax. The number is 1-866-3451-91. And you can contact them on the web by www.equifax.com. TransUnion is our second player. You can reach TransUnion by calling 1-800-916-8800 or online, www.transunion.com. And then our third player is Experian, 1-800-509-8495. www.experian.com. And that's where you go to get your credit scores from those three major players. Now, what is a FICO score? We're going to keep it simple, but we could go really deep here, but we're going to keep it simple. So we're going to say this. The FICO scores are scores that approximately 90% of lenders use when you're going for some type of credit. And they have different types of credit. And when you get your credit score, you got to remember that when you look at that paperwork, you might get a little nervous because they've got so much stuff on there. And sometimes it's hard to understand. But this is a lifesaver because they do have a ledger. And on the ledgers, they'll tell you if it's your credit score, your score 8 or your score 2, they will tell you specifically what those particular scores are used for. And tonight we won't go in depth in that because of time. But if you need us to do that at a later date, I actually have papers of my own credit score that I'm willing to share with you on the different credit scores, like if it's a score 8, score 2, etc. Okay, so let's move forward. So companies that access credit scores that you can get for free, okay, if you have a credit card with them or what have you, and I've got one on here that you don't have to have a credit card with them, and you can still get your score through them. The first one is American Express. American Express, when you go online to check your card, your balance, or anything like that, they give you the credit score. So you want to know what bureau they go through. And you'll see up there, I didn't put it up there, but you have to make sure you know what credit bureau they go through, because when they report, that's the credit bureau that they're going to affect. But hopefully, and I tell people this all the time, when you get a credit card from a place, you need to ask them, do you report to all 3 credit bureaus? Because you need that to be reported across all 3 lines, especially if you have outstanding credit with that credit card company. You want that reported. And also, just a quick thing, each credit report bureau, they kind of report different. So your numbers may be different. So if you see a disparity, don't panic, but also pay attention to your credit report. And it's essential that you get it each year, and sometimes every 6 months. At one time, I was doing that. Why? Because there can be some things that are erroneous on your credit report. A few months ago, I had a negative entry on my credit report from a company. I'm not going to name their name. And they stated that I owed them and I defaulted. I had contacted this pest control company for a property that I own. I paid it up for the year, and I didn't automatically renew. But guess what? They tried to automatically renew, and then they billed me $70-something. Now, many times when we see things on our credit report, we get scared. We just pay it. But go a step further. If it's not yours, there's a way to dispute it. And I'll talk to you about that later in the Credit Secrets book. So let's talk about Bank of America. If you have a card with Bank of America, when you go to check your balances or what have you, they'll give you their credit, your credit score through them. Discover card, they will do the same thing. Now, this is the thing about Discover card that I like. The Discover card will allow you to access your score on their website, even if you don't have a Discover card with them. Okay. Now, the way you do that is it gives you the information on how many accounts that you have open, what your score is, and what is bringing your score down. And you just go to their website and you apply for that. Now, they will ask you some pertinent and personal information. They're going to ask you your first and last name, and they're going to ask you your social security number. Why? Because they can't get access to your information without your numbers, right? So don't be nervous. When you see it, fill it out, and you'll be able to get that score from them for free.
Y'all say good stuff. Is this good stuff? Put good stuff in the comments.
Fantastic. So creditscore.com also will provide you with your score, and you have to provide your social security number to create an account. Now, many people know and have heard of Capital One. Have you heard of Capital One, Wanda?
Oh, yes, I have. I'm a Capital One member.
Go, Wanda. Go, Wanda. So am I. I've been with Capital One for a number of years. And Capital One was one of the cards that I got when I was reestablishing myself. So if you need a card that's going to help you reestablish yourself, Capital One will help you do that. But again, they will give you that score that you need to know, where you are. Okay. So let's jump on to the next thing. Free credit monitoring services. Now, a lot of people talk about Credit Karma. Anybody ever heard of Credit Karma?
Yep.
What you know about Credit Karma, Wanda?
Well, actually, I think I'm registered with Credit Karma because I like the way that they always notify you of something, alerts. They bring it to your attention right away. They let you know if your score is going up or down, or if you've had activity. So they really, I find Credit Karma to work out really well.
She been reading my notes, y'all.
I didn't know. I can't see.
But she is 100% right. Credit Karma will alert you on your phone to give you updates, as will the Discover and those other places. If you set that up, they'll alert you. But the thing about Credit Karma that I like is this. Credit Karma offers the Vantage score. vice the FICO score. Okay. Now the FICO score, sometimes the credit bureaus, they want you to pay for it if you've already got that one yearly free one. Credit score from Equifax and TransUnion are the ones that Credit Karma provides to you. So remember, it's from Equifax and TransUnion. Okay. Equifax and TransUnion is the two that they give you. Updates, and they update more frequently, about once a week on average. You're going to get something from them unless something dynamic is going on with your credit. I got an alert today about a new credit card on my account. And let me tell you, it's amazing because last night I had this new American Express card and I just registered it. So I registered it last night and I got an alert from Credit Karma today. That's pretty amazing.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. And you know what? Another thing is when you, this will help with fraud and identity theft, because a lot of times when people have your information and they're opening up credit, you don't even know about it. But if you sign up to a service like this, then that will also make you aware of what's going on with your credit.
And I'm happy that you brought that up, because that's 100% true. Because I personally have gotten alerts from Credit Karma, and they'll send you something to say, hey, did you just have this inquiry on your credit? And now let me tell you a little bit about American Express. Many years ago, when I worked for, I don't want to say that many because I don't want to date myself, but anyway.
I got your resume.
I know, right? I had to go here. But anyway, when I was an engineer for Kodak, I was flying. I was in Virginia somewhere, and I got stuck because it snowed really bad. And I'm in the airport and I'm making a phone call, and I had pulled out at some point my American Express card. Now, this was my company American Express card. And maybe in less than 15 minutes, American Express called me on the phone because someone had gotten my number and was trying to make all these erroneous charges. And I really appreciated that they called me, because they wanted to find out if it was me making those charges. And then they alerted me that, hey, this is going on. We know that you're traveling. So if you need to do something, call us and we'll approve the charges for you. But this is what's going on. And now Capital One, they're really good about that as well. They'll give you a call to make sure it's you. Or they'll text you. I get texts from them as well. So that's a great point that you brought up, Wanda. So thank you for bringing that up. That's awesome. Yeah. And then Credit Sesame. Credit Sesame gives you free credit scores from Equifax. And they also have another program that they help you. They also do some of the same things that Credit Karma does. They will show you the scores. They'll show you who you've got credit with, what's hurting your credit, how to build your credit. They'll make recommendations just like Credit Karma does. And we didn't say this earlier, but Credit Karma will also recommend certain credit cards to you. They'll also say what your chances of obtaining the cards are, if it's a good, fair, or poor. And they'll actually show you an emblem of the card and all that. So it's great. And they'll put right there how to reach out and apply for the card. So that's great. And Credit Sesame does that. I was doing some research on Credit Sesame a while back, and I looked at some testimonials from people that talked about Credit Sesame, how their credit scores was so low. This one person, she was in the low fours. And now, because she followed the processes that Credit Sesame helped her navigate through, she's well up over 700. Now, this is the thing I want to tell you, because this is not a get great credit quick kind of thing. You got to do your homework, and it takes time. Just like I helped my family member, I didn't do that in 15 days. I didn't do it in 20 days. However, if you have an erroneous thing on your credit report and you send something to the credit bureau and they get it off, like that thing that I told you I had from the pest control company, they took that off and my score skyrocketed. Like 25, maybe 35 points. I don't have the tickets in front of me now, but I do have the paperwork. We can show it at a later date. So I wanted to tell you that So these companies, Credit Sesame and Credit Karma, they're very good. Now, let me tell you this, though. One thing about Credit Karma that I don't find so favorable is that sometimes their scores can be very different, sometimes as much as 50 to 100 maybe points off from what I've seen.
Okay.
And so you got to be really, really careful. And that's why I started out with the 3 major credit bureaus, because if you're going to go somewhere, especially if you're trying to get a house, a car, or a bank loan, get those credit reports so that you know what's going on. And remember, they have different credit score numbers that they use. You know, it might be a credit score 8 or credit score 2. And I don't like to talk off the top of my head, but like a credit score 2, it may be used, say, if you're going to go buy a car or something. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to know what that credit score is. And the way that you're going to be able to delineate if it's accurate is to get the credit report from one of the 3 major credit bureaus. But Credit Karma is good for what it's good for.
Yeah.
It's great for what it's great for.
Good. Love it.
So
good stuff. Say good stuff, everybody. Okay. Good stuff.
And for those that are watching, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put it down there, and I'll try to get to it. If I don't get to it in this segment, we'll definitely get to it in the next segment. So now let's talk about utilization. Utilization, what is utilization? Utilization is the ratio between what your credit limit is on a particular card versus how much of the credit you have used. Okay. And it can hurt you if you're not careful, but it can also help you if you know how to manipulate utilization and strategize your way through month to month utilization. So let's talk about it. 30%, if you keep your credit cards under 30% utilization, that'll get you in the 600 or so club, from 600 to 700. Not quite, sometimes 700, but typically in the high 6 club. But if you keep it under 10%, that'll get you in the high 7s and 8s. Now, when you have almost 0 utilization, you're definitely going to be 8 and above, okay? Depending on the blend of credit that you have. And now the blend of credit is comprised of a couple different types of credits that you have. Wanda, do you know any of those blends?
Yep, you have your revolving credit, and that's like your store credit, which they don't have too much of that going on now, but back in the day they had more of it. Your loans, you know, like your bank loans, and your credit cards. Yeah, that's another type of credit. Your installments, that's what I meant to say, your installment loans, which is on your cars and stuff like that. Yeah.
And your house loans. So if you have a house loan, a car loan, school loans that are in good standing, and credit cards and store cards, typically
that's a good combination.
That's a great combination. Okay. And also, let me tell you, you've got TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Zales. Stores like that right now are doing pretty well with offering people credit. I just got a TJ Maxx card in the mail today. I kid you not. It came upstairs and was like,
yeah. And that's a revolving loan.
Yes.
That's a revolving type of
credit. And some people think that a TJ Maxx or something is going to be a small loan, a small credit limit. No. Let me just tell you this. My credit limit was just shy of $2,000. TJ Maxx. Now, this is something that I realized most recently. TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and a couple of the other stores are teaming up. So when you go into the other stores, guess what card you can use?
Either one.
Exactly, at whatever store.
At whatever
Isn't that amazing?
Store.
Yes. So the opportunities are out there. So if you need to start, you can start somewhere. You might have to start low, but you can start. So they're out there. So if you are trying to bring up your credit, remember to use proper utilization strategies. And some of you may be wondering, how do I get the full understanding of credit utilization? So I'm going to do something on the board right quick to show you a little bit about how that works. Okay. So I hope you can see this. Can you see this pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
you can see it.
utilization. We've already explained what utilization is. Now I'm going to tell you how to do the math. So remember, you want to stay under 30%, keep it below 30%, or you can be right at 30, but I try to tell people to do it right under 30%, to be in the 600 club up to 700, and then stay under 10% utilization to be in the 700 and above. So now that we've got that out the way, I'm going to show you a little simple math. Okay.
Okay.
So if you have a credit card and your credit limit is $1,500, right? What you want to do is you want to multiply that by 30%. Okay, you see that dot right there? And for those of you that can't see the dot, I'm gonna just put 30%. So if you multiply 1,500 by 30%, it should come out to about $450. Somebody want to do the math on that? Just in case, Okay, so $450. So if you have a credit card and your limit is $1,500, you should not go over $450 when it's being reported. Right? When it's being reported. So let me explain what I mean. What I mean is this. When you get your credit reports, when you get your credit cards, a primary thing that you want to do is to make sure you contact your creditors and ask them what their report date is. And what the report date is the day that they report it to the credit bureaus, because that makes a difference on how you're rated with your credit. Now, this is something that I found out. I called Capital One and I said, "Hello, sir. How you doing today?" I gave them my information, all that. They verified who I was. I said, "Listen, I need to find out what my credit report date is." Okay. And they knew immediately what I was talking about. Wow. And so he said, "Your credit report date is the 22nd. I said, "Okay." So what I did was I always made sure that before, not on, and I digress. I have paid it on that day, but before midnight. Okay. So I make sure that I pay it typically the day before or even a week before, if I can, or what have you. But anyway, pay it ahead of time so you don't get caught. So I pay it ahead of time. And what happens is when it reports my utilization as being low, which helps my credit to go up. Now, this is another thing that I learned. The credit report date, they said to me, was the 22nd. But then I called them again at another time, and they said, "Well, yeah, the credit report date is the 22nd, but the credit bureau may not report it, or we may not turn it over to them until maybe the 24th. But what I want to impress upon you is don't get caught in that game. If they tell you this is our report date, before that report date, go ahead and make sure you're under the 30% utilization. Because if you stay under there, you're going to start getting on track if you're behind and you want to boost your credit scores. But if you don't, because things happen, just work on it next month. Or you can do this. And this is what I did with my family member. When I was helping them, I asked them, "Give me all of your credit cards. I need to know." I didn't say let me have them. Okay. But what I wanted to know was all of their credit card information. I wanted to know the credit limit, how much they owed, and the report date. Now, many people don't know their report dates. How about you? Do you know your report date, Wanda?
I do not know my report date.
Okay,
I
so I'm
do
going
not
to
know. You just gave me some great information. I'm sitting here like, yeah, I did not know.
So I'm going to challenge you for the next segment. Learn your report dates of all your credit cards and then share with us what you found out about at least one. So I had my family member call and find their report dates and find out all that information. And with that information, I said to them, well, you owe American Express this, you owe Citibank this. How much fluid cash do you have? And they told me. And I said, these are the report dates. Can you pay them by the report dates to bring it under the utilization? And the answer was no. So I said, okay, I'll tell you what. I will give you X amount of dollars. It might have been $1,500 or a little over $2,000. I said, I'm going to give you this money to help you get under the utilization. And then once you get under that utilization, after the report date has passed for a couple of days, then what we're going to do, we're going to take that very same money and we're going to take to my credit cards and pay them under the utilization. And see, what happened was when we went back and got our credit reports several days later, it might have been 25, 30 or more days, probably 30 or more days, our credit just started to skyrocket. Okay. Wow. So what we did, we leveraged each other's finances and we leveraged each other's credit, and you can do it. And you have to have somebody that you trust, and you got to trust yourself to do the right thing. You can't do the same old things and expect new results, because it will not happen. But I know this can work. You just got to work it. It's a process, and you have to trust the process. So that's how I was able to help. Now, I'm going to give you another tip. Anybody ever heard of this?
Y'all say good stuff. Hey, thanks for joining. Thanks, Prophetess Jordan, for joining us, and Noah out in Texas. Vivian said, wow, this is good stuff. Say good stuff.
Okay, anybody ever heard of authorized user?
And what's
typically they say AU.
Right.
Authorized user. Anybody ever heard of authorized user? Throw me some thumbs up, hearts,
thumbs up,
moonwalk, whatever you want to do.
Not the moonwalk.
Yes, the moonwalk.
Okay, we got some thumbs up. Thumbs up.
All right, fantastic. So you know what I'm talking about. But for those that are not very familiar with it, authorized users, I was going back to utilization, but authorized users is a person that you can add to your credit card. Now, this is the beauty of it. If you have someone in your family and you've lost your job and you've gone through a divorce, or you've hit hard times because life has happened, and they know that you are a hard worker and you're trying to restore yourself, many times your family members, even friends, will help you out. I know, because I've done it. Okay. So what you do is you get the card with the longest history, with the highest amount of allowable credit, and you add them on as a user. Now, what happens is your history, your good paying history, will go on their credit report as an authorized user. Not only that, it will boost their credit. Why? Because their utilization will expand. Okay. Now, this is what I tell my clients, especially those that tell me, Miss Lotus, I'm not good with money. Know what I tell them?
What you tell them?
Let them add you on. Don't take a card.
Right. So
And
now they're
usually,
benefiting
yes,
from the good credit status
exactly,
and building their
exactly,
credit. That's great. That's great
exactly.
stuff.
And I don't want them to fall in the hole. You know why? Because sometimes if you take a card and you know that you still are working on yourself to overcome some disciplines, okay, don't take that card. Because what's going to happen is you're going to hurt that person's credit card if you go out there because they've got a $45,000 credit limit and you're going to go out there and you're going to do some things that's going to hurt yourself, especially if you're overcoming some woes, like you lost your job, you're trying to get reestablished, or you're going through a divorce. So be careful with that. And I just tell people, don't let them give you the credit card if you're not really prepared. And there's no shame in that. But the shame is doing it when you know you're not of the right business mind yet, because you can get there, but you're not there yet. Okay. So that's what I tell people. But those that decide that they're going to give a person a card because they know that they're ready and they're responsible, it's a good thing. Why? Because it allows them to get accustomed to be bringing back this rhythm of abundance in their life and making them responsible again to go and make the purchases and set themselves up for success. And each, have things written down each month of how you're paying your bills and all of that, and start making those payments on that credit card. And over time, your credit card is going to go up. And then this is what you're going to be able to do. You're going to be able, once your credit score goes up, I said you, not
you, and you, and you, and you, and you.
Y'all going to be able to do this. Apply and get what type of credit card, Wanda?
Any kind they want.
Any kind they want. You'll get your own personal credit card, okay? It'll be originated in your name under your Social Security card, okay? And that's what you need to be able to do. What that is called is a primary credit card. It takes work, it takes time, but I promise you, you can do it. And since time is of the essence, we're going to kind of wrap up right here with this.
I got a question though before we wrap up.
What we got?
So Vivian wanted to know about consolidation. She said, what about consolidation?
Yes.
So you want to give her a tip or a tool?
Yes.
On that?
So Vivian, I'm happy you said that. And I'm going to make it quick. Consolidation loans are great. If you can get with Navy Federal or a company called Credible, and I'm going to do something on Credible. I've already got a presentation for Credible. They will help you. One, Navy Federal, if you have an account with them and you're in good standing, what they will do, you can apply for a loan and you can get a loan and you can pay off all your bills at a lower interest rate. Why? Because you'll get the money from Navy Federal, which is one loan, at a lower interest rate, but you can knock off all those other loans. And I'm telling you, it works. The family member that I helped, I kid you not, the family member that I helped, they said, I want to pay off all my bills. I said, okay. They wanted to get a loan. Now we did some frequency adjusting before we went. I believe in meditation and frequencies and stuff like that, frequencies of abundance. But what we did was we said, okay, we sat down, we got online with Navy Federal and applied for a loan over $28,000. I'm not going to tell you the total amount, but it was over $28,000. And in less than 10 minutes, the money was in their account.
Can
Can
anybody
put some in my account?
Can anybody open up a Navy Federal account?
Well, I was told most recently, and I looked at some information that was out publicly, that Navy Federal was doing a new thing last year where they were allowing people who did not have family members who were prior service or current service to apply. Now, I don't know if that's factual, but I will tell you this. If you have a family member who is prior military or current military, you can do two of three things. You can, one, ask them for their ID, get their ID number, and go into the bank, tell them who you are, how you're related to the person, give them your ID, and give them that ID number. And they'll look it up. And as long as they can prove that you're related to this person, they'll open you an account. Or you can have the person go into the bank with you and tell them, hey, this is my daughter, this is my son, what have you, my husband, what have you. This is how my grandchild, and they can open an account with you, both checking and savings account. You can do that. However, if none of that applies to you and you like me, you a Navy lady, you can walk right into the bank. Well, all right, the Marines can, and the Army and the Air Force, and y'all can come too. But anyway, you can walk right in the bank and apply for an account. And if your credit is, I would say, in the high fives and even the low sixes, you can apply for a credit card. And typically what I've seen, especially in the past year, and I'm a member of a company called Credit Secret, right? And on that platform, I see a plethora of people talking about their scores was in the high fives and middle sixes even. They walked in and got a loan or a credit card for $20,000 and $25,000, and I've got stuff to back it up. No joke. So you can do that to consolidate, and consolidation is good. But when you can take it from either your credit bureau, or even you can get a credit card, like the Discover card is one that you can utilize. You can get a huge amount of credit from them at a lower interest rate, and then pay off all your other bills and just have one creditor that you're paying directly. But the difference between like a Discover card, even a Capital One, even though Capital One has their own bank, you're going to get a better rate typically from a place like Navy Federal or Penn Fed. Now, Penn Fed is the same thing. You have to be prior or current military, but Penn Fed will do a credit check on you and may put a stipulation on your account if they deem you qualified to open the account.
Okay. Great stuff. I have another question from Vivian, and just kind of walk her through this. She said that she's seen offers for her credit of up to 30%, interest. And she want to know how to improve that. And I want you to answer that for her, and this with her credit.
So let me make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. So you're getting credit offers, but the credit interest is 30%, right?
Right.
Okay. If you have to get that card because you're not qualifying for the ones with a lower interest rate and you're trying to reestablish yourself, then the choice is yours. You can get that credit card to reestablish yourself. And then once your credit scores start to go up, but you got to pay this card on time. Well, before time. That's what I always say. Pay it before time. Stay in good graces with them. Your credit score will go up, okay, because you're building a history. But remember this, some of these credit card companies like the Bank of Marin, they'll start you off with $500. And if you stay in good graces with them for 6 months, they'll boost you up to $1,000. Your credit limit will boost as well as your credit score. Now, Capital One will do the same thing. Now, some companies I've heard you have to contact them and you have to call them. Credit One, they're pretty good about that. They'll do it, but their interest rate is high. And First Premier Bank, they'll also do it, but their interest rate is high. And I know from personal experience.
Okay. Good stuff. So Lotus, thank you. And this definitely is a part 2, because I got all these questions. I know how we use credit for our business when we're trying to, leverage business and kind of moving it around and making that credit money work for you. And it's really, I've seen people do some big deals with using these credit opportunities. And again, this conversation is about lifestyle change. You use a lot of powerful words that I just want people to understand when we talk about raising a vibration and frequency, you know, going into looking at life like with an expectation, but then also positioning ourselves so we can get the manifestation that we're looking for. You know, it's very, very powerful. And then watching who you're associated with. You gave some great tools. I hadn't thought about the whole leveraging credit together. You know, that's powerful.
Yes.
And then finding out exactly when your report date is,
Mhm.
because well, I know when I was in real estate, I used to tell people do not go over 20%. I didn't even play around with that 30% mark. It was, you know, it was in there. And as to Vivian, what Vivian is asking, if you start out, if your credit kind of hit the skids and you building back, it's all now it's about establishing, and you don't even have to use the cards. Just get the card, use it for like getting gas, and then at the end of the month, you know that was your gas money, and you had that money anyway, so you're not going into debt. But don't go out here trying to buy furniture sets and, you know, big ticket items that you don't have a payback real quick to get out of that. So,
and Wanda, let me say this, because you made a magnificent point that I want to leave folks off with. Like Wanda said, you don't have to use them, but buy gas and stuff like that. What she was saying is, when you get them, you do have to use them. Don't be like me. I was hoarding it. I could go in the store and buy anything I wanted, but I didn't want to use it. It's like, oh, but we have to have the mindset of abundance and be able to circulate our money, not spend. Because when you spend, it don't come back. But when you circulate, you put it out with that energy, it will come back. But what Wanda was sharing with you is a key thing. When you start getting credit cards, you have to use them. I was in Wichita, Kansas about a week or two ago, well, for the Christmas holiday, and I went to use one of my credit cards. I think I might have shared this with you, Wanda, in a private conversation. I went to use one of my credit cards to buy somebody a gift. It was like $500 some, and it declined. Well, it declined, but I knew what my credit availability was. I called the company. I had other credit cards, but I wanted to use that one. So I called right from the store and I said, listen, I know what my credit limit is, and I was just declined. Can you tell me why? She said, well, because you hadn't used the card. And when I got home, I had a letter at home. Well, we've closed the card.
They closed the account.
But let me tell you what she did. She reinstated it right then and there. I charged the purchase and I moved on. And see, that's another thing that I learned. You've got to use the account. It makes you disciplined and it makes you flexible. If you got a bill for $6 and something a month that's reoccurring, I got a water bill down on a property that I own, and that bill is going on the card that I don't really use. Why? Because you've got to build that.
Because you keep that card active. Yep. So that's another thing in how you know, when we talk about, I know a lot of people will watch this and we'll be on all levels. I know I've seen Noah on here. Noah is big in the credit game. So this is ABC stuff to him. But, you know, for all of us, I love that credit secrets. For all of us, we all need to know how to leverage. That's what it's all about. Collaborations. I think this is the year of collaborations and leveraging. You know, what do we do with this information that we have? We don't hoard it. We save it. You know, we use it to help one another. If you know something, I'm speaking to anybody watching. If you have some expertise in something, I want to talk to you. I want you to come on here and help us win. This is the Winning Evening News, and we are deliberate about winning. And the way we win is for everybody to participate. If you are here and you just want to come and take and be a parasite, you're going to get evicted. I'm just going to tell you. If you I always have to throw that out there.
Eviction.
You're going to get evicted. So, but because I know we all got special gifts and talents that we can share, you know, so please, you know, connect with the people that you see watching. Send this video out into your networks and be be diligent about getting things on track that are going to serve your higher power and your higher good. And we have to stop being ignorant when it comes to things that we're afraid of. Shake off the butterflies and just ask the hard questions and
Yes.
be honest with where you are, so then you'll know where you have to get to. It's okay if you're at a 400 or 300 or if you don't have any credit. One other thing that you mentioned was that the whole the whole when you give people access.
Yes.
I think that that's a key thing in helping our children understand
Yes.
credit. They don't even need the card, but when they hit that mark of about 17, 18 years old and they can go onto your thing, set them in the world with the 800-900 score. So then they never, and teach them how you do it all along. So then they don't have to hit these hiccups that we do of not knowing and getting all excited when we get that credit card, and that credit card say, "Ooh, $15,000. Ooh, let me go."
Mm-hmm. And I know people right today that I know personally, they're doing that with their children. And if you do that with your children are going to be more mature when it comes to handling credit and financial responsibility.
That's right. That's right. Lotus, tell everybody how to get in touch with you and talk about I know you held up a book and now she was
Yes.
sharing some stuff from the book. Y'all tell them how to get that book and how to stay connected with you.
Okay.
And also, what do we have coming up?
Okay, so this book that I share with you, the one that I'm showing you now, is How to Build Business Credit. And this is by Credit Secrets. Now, I didn't write this book. Mr. Scott Hilton and his wife wrote this book. Why? Because they ran into some credit issues themselves and they wanted to help people. And when I first saw the book, I was really skeptical. I got everybody's kind of skeptical, right? Because there's so many scams. So I got the book anyway because it was worth it to me to spend the money to invest in me and learn, how to help me help myself. So what I did, I got the book and it's just loaded with a plethora of ways to help you out. Did you know that if you change your address and make it accurate and get all those other addresses off of your credit report, that it can help your credit score go up? Did you know that?
Wow.
I didn't before I got the book. And I told you guys, I got a master's in business. They didn't teach me this in school. The part of me working with my family member and all that, I came up with that myself. And I thought I was brilliant. But when I got the book, oh my God. They even have this thing called the automator. If you're trying to get something off your credit, the automator will actually draft a letter for you and you send this off to your creditor. That's how I got that negative entry removed from the pest control place. I went into my automator process, I drafted the letter and I sent it to them. Why? Because it has all the laws in the letter that tell them, you better get this off my credit report or I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this. And they think I'm a genius, but I was the genius because I was smart enough to get the help that I needed, and I became an affiliate. And when you become an affiliate, the book is like $39.99. But when you sell a book, they give you a link. People can go to your link and buy the book through you. And guess what? This is what I love. When somebody buy the book, you don't know that they even bought the book. So they will have anonymity because some of us are just bashful, and that's okay. But when they buy the book at $39.99, you get $30. I never seen a company do that before. And then they talk about one of my favorite books, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, because what you think about, you bring about. If you think about abundance, you will begin to manifest it, but you got to take action. And that's what this book is about, Credit Secrets. You got to take action. And so what I'll do is I'll get on and I'll put my link if you want to get the Credit Secret books. It's a Credit Secret book, and then it gives you credit secrets for your personal credit, for your business credit, and it also gives you a quick start. Now, this is what else I love about the book. The day that you purchase the book, they send you a PDF right away. You don't have to wait till the book gets to you to get started because you got all the information in the PDF that's in the book.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. I know some people gonna be on here getting it. You getting lots of hearts and thumbs up. So tell
Well,
us
thank
also
you.
how to get in touch with you. What's your links and your websites and how to get in touch with you.
Okay, so you can reach me at Lotus Riche Ignites. Life coaching and consulting is www.lotusriche.ignites. And you see my website. Right now, I'm working on some new things that I'm adding to my website. So you'll see some changes coming along. You can also reach me on YouTube at Lotus Riche or at Lotus Riche Ignites. You can find me on Facebook at Lotus Riche Ignites or Lotus Riche, either page, but I prefer that people go to my business page, Lotus Riche Ignites. And then you can also see me here every Monday on Status Network TV, where I am so blessed and happy to be one of the co-hosts of one of the shows right here on this network.
And
Every Monday.
that's the Wellness Architect show.
Yes, that's the Kevin Thornton.
Kevin Thornton show.
Right. Thornton Wellness
Okay.
Architect show. And me,
Yep, and it's a great show too. I think I posted the show in the group a couple days ago.
yes.
So Lotus, I just want to thank you so much for coming on. We got to set up our next because this was just a tiny drop in the bucket. We had decided, great minds think alike. We had decided that we're going to do a series. So we're going to get together and kind of bring everybody more strategies, and we'll probably do more of these type of talks inside of the Wake Up Winning for Entrepreneurs, just because we're going to go into like the business model of credit. People have this fear because they've kind of messed up credit and they don't understand the power of credit. And there's definitely a power of credit that we need to learn, and we need to learn how to utilize it and leverage it to our best advantage. So for that, Miss Lotus, I just want to thank you so much for coming on, and I'll see you soon.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Good night, Wanda.
Good night, sweetie. So guys, that's it. You've been a part of the Winning Evening News with my special guest, Miss Lotus Riche. And please reach out to her, stay connected to her, because she has a lot of great information. We just scratched the surface with her knowledge, and her knowledge is in different areas. Today we were talking about credit. If any of you are interested in coming on, sharing your expertise on this platform, please reach out to us. You can drop a email at the Winning Evening News, or you can hold on, guys. Okay. So you can drop a email to the Winning Evening News .mail, or you can just send us a message here on Facebook and we will respond. Please bear with us. We are the calendar is filling up, and I know some people have sent in requests. We're going to definitely, if we haven't responded to you, we are. So please just be patient with us. We want to get everybody onto the calendar. And I do want to encourage you to join join the Wake Up Winning for Entrepreneur group here on Facebook, because we do more broadcasts over there as well. And for you that want to just be around a community that's active in sharing resources and just keeping you encouraged, please come over there with us. Now we have some music. We didn't get to our music today, but we do have some music that some people had sent in. So we're going to be coming to you next Wednesday, and we're going to spotlight some music, because that's another thing that we want to do with our Winning Evening News platform. And again, like, this is a work in progress. We're just working hard, just trying to help us help ourselves, right? We all we got, and we are enough. So that's what I know, that's what I believe in, and we're going to continue to wake up winning. I have been your host for tonight, Wanda D, the Motivational Queen. You can reach me on Facebook, all social media platforms under Wanda D Hollis, and as well as please check out my website at I Am Enough 365.com. I want to wish you a very, very special, great, wonderful night. And until we meet again, I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Ta-ta, and bye for now.